For 2024, the Mercedes GLE has undergone a mid-cycle refresh, and one of the biggest changes is the addition of a plug-in hybrid powertrain. It's known as the GLE450e, and it's what we're going to take a look at on the latest Novak Report review. Whereas the Mercedes EQ fully electric series of vehicles run on entirely unique platform designs intended for full electrification, the GLE450e plug-in hybrid shares the same platform, package, and offering structure as the GLE450e. So if you like the look of the GLE SUV but want an electrified powertrain, this would be a more appealing choice compared to the EQE SUV, which is sized to match the GLE but bears little resemblance in its exterior design. As the 450e is part of a mid-cycle refresh, also included are significant upgraded standard features over the previous generation. This includes a new multifunction steering wheel generation with capacitive controls, the second generation of the MBUX infotainment interface, and updated Burmester surround sound system with Dolby Atmos, sound personalization and music streaming, and more. Powering this GLE450e is, of course, a plug-in hybrid powertrain that combines a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine and its 248 horsepower with an electric motor that is connected to a 23.3 kilowatt-hour battery, and combined you're looking at an output of 381 horsepower and 479 pound-feet of torque. Plug-in hybrids, of course, have the capacity to drive prolonged stretches on EV only. That is why you have to plug it in. The battery is larger. Again, this 23.3 kilowatt-hour battery, that is larger than most plug-in hybrid batteries, so therefore you're going to have a larger EV-only range. It is posted to be 77 kilometers, according to Mercedes, which is 48 miles. That is on the upper end of range compared to all the other plug-in hybrids out there. Normally you're looking at 25, 30 miles, 40, 50 kilometers. This, of course, gets into a range where now you start to think it is quite possible and quite likely that you're going to be doing just about all your driving on EV only, so long as you commit to always keeping it charged. With respect to charging this GLE450e, using a level 2 charging system, a home charger, you'll get from empty to full in just under 3 hours, or 3 hours. It says just under 3. Not many PHEVs offer DC fast charging because, again, you don't typically need it if you're only going to get 40, 50 kilometers, 25, 30 miles of EV-only range. When you get to a vehicle like this, it does start to make sense, and this is one of a few PHEVs that does offer DC fast charging. Others, more commonly known, the Outlander PHEV has always had it. The Range Rover PHEV has DC fast charging, and now we have this GLE450e. They say it'll get you from empty to 80% in 20 minutes, empty to full in about 30 minutes. And whether you will want to or not, in Canada, actually the DC fast charging capability here is an option. It's a $650 option. On a $90,000 base car, it's probably not a big deal. As far as I could tell, it's standard in the US. I tried to spec this out on the US site, and I couldn't see where there was an option to add the DC, so maybe it's already standard. If somebody has one, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But would you want to? Do you want to pay for the option, even though it's not all that expensive? You don't, even with this kind of range, how often are you going to stop for 20 or 30 minutes just to get another 70, 80 kilometers, which it won't be that much if you're driving highway, since again, you're going to probably only get, maybe 50 or 60 kilometers giving highway speeds. So it really becomes a question whether it's something that will happen a lot. If you're stopping for lunch, you're going to be stopped for half an hour anyway, by all means. And if there's a DC charging outlet available, you get up to 60 kilowatts, I believe, on this here with the charging, so go for it. But is it something you'll really consistently do? It's hard to say. Overall, this is a pretty compelling offering for Mercedes with this GLE. You've got the plug-in hybrid and you have everything that the GLE has always been. Even with the mid-cycle upgrades, you've got a pretty enticing, luxurious, comfortable offering. But as to whether the PHEV is right, it really becomes a question of how committed you are to using the electric-only feature. PHEVs make sense if you are a daily driver, your daily commuting range is within that, and you're committed to charging up every night. That way you don't worry about the gas tank. But not all PHEV buyers are committed to doing that type of thing. It's always a bit of a head scratcher why you wouldn't be. But if you're not going to be committed to always charging, if you're not going to be committed to maximizing your EV only, then you've got things to consider. You've got a heavier vehicle. So when you're driving it with a gas, sort of a hybrid system, you're going to get less fuel economy because you're carrying a battery around. And you've got two parallel drive systems. There's more mechanically that could go wrong. Why would you want to do that if you're not committing to it? And if you really want electrification and you just can't seem to convince yourself that the, EV only range is enough, well, give it a try, because, this may be nice, but, the EQE SUV is getting into some pretty serious EV only range. So, it really becomes a question is, how committed you are to using the PHEV as it is meant to be, as to whether or not this is the right choice for you. Overall, I said it's a great vehicle, but whether it's the great vehicle with this powertrain is a question that you have to ask yourself. And to that end, I'm going to put together another video, which will be online pretty soon, that is actually going to take the time to compare this GLE450, a PHEV, with the EQE and the full EV system, so that maybe you want to go a little more deeper into the comparison. What's better, what's worse, what are the pros and cons? Well, I'll have that for you online as soon as I can. And once it's up, I will put the link, attach it back into this, so you'll be able to get to it once you've watched this video.
Plug-in hybrids have both their fans and their critics, and with regard to the Mercedes-Benz GLE450e, I think this offers something for both sides of the draw. The added EV range compared to most of the PHEVs on the road today makes the argument in favor of PHEVs and the ability to drive almost exclusively on battery more compelling. But the added weight from the larger battery would be something to point out as a criticism, especially for those who don't make a point of regularly charging overnight. But what is undisputable is that this 2024 GLE450e is everything one expects a Mercedes to be, and that alone is deserving of a fair amount of praise. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to like it, leave me a comment, and share it with others. If you're not subscribed to the Novak Report on YouTube, please consider doing so. And if you are subscribed, remember to ring the bell so that you're notified of every time I upload something new. That's all for now. I'm Eric Novak. Thanks for watching.